So we clear on this. This is the truth they don't want you to know. I know who Moses and Aaron is. But they lie and tell the people that that's them. But do you know there's no historic record to prove that? Come on now. Do you know that? They can't even back it up. The only thing they can show you is a verse in the Bible. That's all they got. No, okay, well, let's just see. This is Mr. Great Historian, Mr. H.G. Wells. Now, he's big time in their world. He said, but of the life and career of Moses, there is no Egyptian record at all. There is no account of any plagues of Egypt or any pharaoh drowned in the Red Sea. Now, this is what Mr. H.G. Wells says on page 136 of his book. There is no account of this. Well, let's just go. This is Mr. Whoopi, Rabbi David Whoopi, who did this in 2004. He said, 3 years ago, I explained to my congregation, the Simon Wiesenthal Center, that according to archaeologists, there is no reliable evidence that the Exodus took place. Wow. And that it most certainly did not take place the way the Bible recounts it. He's a rabbi. He said, he told him 3 years ago that there is no reliable evidence. What does reliable mean? It means that which you can hang your hat on, that which you can stand on, that which you can trust, that which is firm or you can depend on, that which you can have faith in. There is no evidence. Wait a minute. Before I move on, I thought the children of Israel or Abraham's seed was supposed to be a blessing. Did we just read that? How could you take someone's identity and call that a blessing? How could you tell a man that when you realize, say you didn't know, but once you find out it's not you, don't tell nobody. Keep that to yourself. And call that a blessing. What about the person whose identity you have stolen? What kind of blessing do they have? He said a tradition or belief cannot make a historical claim and then refuse to have it evaluated by history. You can't stand up and claim something, then not have somebody check your claim for the validity of your claim. That a certain number of people walked across a particular desert at a particular time in the past after being enslaved and liberated is an historical claim. And one cannot then cry unfair when historians evaluate it. You can't say that I'm anti-Semitic when I say, where's your proof of what you claim? Oh, see, that's anti-Semitism. And that's how they lay it on our people. If you even hit at some, oh, you're anti-Semite. Let me tell you about these damn people. Whenever you expose them, they create another controversy to take your attention off of them. How many of you remember just a few weeks ago, this ship was coming with all of these supplies for the Palestinians? Y'all remember? The Israelis jumped down, took the ship, killed people on the ship, and the whole world was enraged over what they had done. Even President Obama said, no, now that right there, y'all messed up on that. What happened the next day? All of a sudden, they found a little old lady who was at the White House press corps. Her name was Helen Thomas, 90 years old. They found a tape of her a month earlier telling Jews to go back to Europe, diverting the attention off of what they did, putting their attention on Helen Thomas. So now everybody's so incensed with Helen Thomas, she has to resign. They forget all about what they had just done. This is how they do all the time. Now, the book is out. Secret relationship between blacks and Jews. Now they want you to know who helped kill Martin Luther King. The slander. See, Mr. Crouch said, that you can't call Farrakhan a truth teller.
That's what he said.
See, it was always some Uncle Tom Negroes. But we really can't call them Uncle Toms, because Uncle Tom in the book was really a person who did a certain dance, one thing, but behind the scene he was trying to help black people. That's the truth about Uncle Tom. Uncle Tom was really out for his people. So you would have to call some Negroes not Uncle Tom Negroes, but Uncle Ruckus Negroes. Because Uncle Ruckus hate his own kind, love white people. So you have to call them Uncle Ruckus Negroes. Because they could find no redeeming quality for their own kind. So I wonder, does he know what Mr. Foxman and Mr. Foxman's people think of him? I wonder if Mr. Crouch knows what they really think of him. I wonder, did he even read the book?
No, he didn't. Couldn't have.
When he came out and said Farrakhan is not a truth teller. This is the most authoritative English translation of the Babylonian Talmud, edited by Dr. I. Epstein and published in London in 1935 by the Sunsino Press. There's only 1,000 were published. The most authoritative, and they have two different types, but the one that they read the most authoritative one is the Babylonian Talmud. Now I wonder if Mr. Crouch, he should ask Mr. Foxman, can he read the Talmud? Mr. Crouch is a journalist, right? Why don't he go ask him, let me read the Talmud for myself? Let me read it and see what you say in your book, Mr. Foxman, concerning me. That's your friend, right? See, Mr. Farrakhan came out front with his. He put his on blast, how y'all say, you know? He came out, gave the speech on the 26th, held up the book, said if you can find this wrong, I give my life. Why they don't put the Talmud out there and say Farrakhan is lying? The Talmud doesn't say that. Here it is, read it for yourself. Why don't you go and try to get your edition of the Talmud? Let's see what it says. Let's see what it says. In the Talmud, now this gentleman, Harold Brackman, that's the lapdog they sent out to try to fight the minister. Mr. Brackman wrote 16 pages to refute 500 pages. 500 pages, 16 pages of crap. He could not defend it. To get his thesis to become Dr. I should have put Dr. Harold Brackman. He wrote in his thesis that there is no denying that Jewish Babylonian Talmud was the first source to read a necrophobic content into the episode of the Curse of Ham. All over the world, they have this thing about black people. You can go to India, and they have a class system. And the darker you are, the further down the class system you are. All over the globe. And it all stems from this. The Babylonian Talmud saying that you were cursed black. So why y'all just beating up on them? The devil has to be exposed. How do you expose Satan? Well, Satan, see this, he's really Satan. You can't expose Satan like that. You got to have some courage to expose Satan. You can't be no punk and expose Satan.